All right, today we're going to crack open a truly timeless classic, the Master Key System. But we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to take its powerful concepts and turn them into practical tools you can actually use, starting right now. Okay, let's get into it. What's so interesting is that this wasn't even a book at first. It was actually a correspondence course from way back, over a century ago. And the whole point was to train your mind, week by week, to go from just, wishful thinking to deliberately creating the life you want. So let's talk about that feeling of being stuck, right? It's something pretty much everyone can relate to. That feeling like you're just a passenger, being carried along by things that seem totally out of your control. I mean, does this sound familiar? That sense that your goals, your mood, your happiness, it all depends on what's happening at you, your job, the economy, what other people think. It's a feeling of powerlessness, and honestly, it's way more common than you'd think. But what if that whole feeling is based on a big misunderstanding of where your power actually comes from? In this explainer, we're going to shift that perspective. We'll explore 3 core ideas from the very first part of this system to help you move from that reactive state to a creative one. So here's the plan. First, we'll get really clear on what this inner power actually is. Then we'll uncover the surprising first step to using it. And finally, we'll look at a natural law that makes change feel manageable and, more importantly, sustainable. Together, they create a simple but really profound system for taking back the steering wheel. Okay, this next part is the key to the whole thing. The entire system is built on this one crucial idea, the difference between your inner world and your outer world. If you get this, you get everything that follows. So take a look at how this is framed. The central argument is that your inner world, that's your thoughts, your beliefs, your general mental state, is always the cause. And your outer world, your health, finances, relationships, that's simply the effect. A great way to think about it is like an architect's blueprint versus the finished building. To put it really simply, everything human made started as a thought. A chair, a smartphone, a business. It all began as just an idea in someone's head, a mental blueprint. The big insight here is that the exact same principle applies to your life. Your life conditions also begin as thoughts. So the crucial takeaway is this. If you want to change the effect, your external circumstances, you have to change the cause. And that cause is always and only found inside you. Trying to change your outer world first is like trying to change your reflection in the mirror without actually moving your body. It just can't work. Now, this brings up a really practical question, right? If it all starts with my thoughts, how on earth do I get control over them, especially when my mind feels so chaotic? Well, let's explore the first actionable step, and you'll see how this all builds in a really practical way. And here's the part that's pretty counterintuitive. The very first exercise in the Master Key System isn't about wrestling with your thoughts at all. It's about mastering your body. The initial challenge is deceptively simple. Can you just sit and be physically still? In a world that's all about constant motion and distraction, the ability to consciously command your body to be still is a forgotten superpower. It's the essential first step you need to get the mental clarity to direct your thoughts instead of just being dragged around by them. Okay, so practicing stillness creates that mental space, like a quiet little garden plot. But how do you actually plant new seeds in that plot and make sure they grow? Well, that's where the next natural law comes into play, the law of growth. This is where we so often get it wrong. We try to force change with these intense, short-term efforts, like a crash diet or cramming for a test. But real growth, just like a plant, doesn't happen through force. It happens through small, consistent, repeated actions. It's about cultivating new mental habits, not trying to overpower the old ones. Let's see how this works. For your career, imagine dedicating just a short, focused period each day to one key skill. At first, it's going to feel slow. But after a few months, that gentle, daily repetition builds into deep expertise. You start to see opportunities and solutions that were totally invisible before. This principle works with people, too. Trying to fix a relationship with one big gesture, well, it rarely lasts. But what about making a small, consistent mental effort to just think about someone with appreciation? That gradually changes your inner state, which then softens how you interact with them, and you start to build genuine harmony over time. And for habits, this is absolutely crucial. The part of your mind that works on autopilot learns through repetition.
So by mentally rehearsing a new behavior for just a few minutes a day, you're gently feeding it new instructions. And pretty soon, that new behavior just starts to feel automatic.
We've covered the theory. Now let's ground all this in a simple, practical exercise you can start doing today. Let's call it the Master Key Focus Reset. So here's the practice, straight out of part 1 of the book. Find a quiet place where you won't be bothered. Sit comfortably, consciously try to release any tension in your muscles. And then, for just a few minutes, your only job is to remain as physically still as you can. Your thoughts can go wherever they want, just focus on keeping your body perfectly still.
And remember this crucial point. You are not trying to fight your mind or stop thinking. That's a losing battle. The only goal here is to prove to yourself that you are in conscious control of your physical body. This is the solid foundation that all mental control is built on.
So as we wrap up this first part of our journey into the Master Key System, let's just recap the key ideas to help guide your path forward. So 3 ideas to hold on to. First, your inner world is the cause. That means the power to change your life is already inside you. Second, physical stillness is the starting block. It's the practical first step to taming mental chaos. And third, lasting change is a marathon of small steps, not a sprint. That's how you build real, sustainable momentum.
These ideas are really just the beginning. If you're ready for the next step, you can find episode 2 in our Master Key System playlist. We'll explore how to work with that automatic part of your mind to make this whole process even more powerful. And this leaves us with one final question for you. Applying that law of growth, what is just one small, constructive thought about your work, your health, your life that you could begin to practice gently and consistently starting this week?